Imagine a village haunted by hyenas so clever, they seem almost human. But what if the leader of these hyenas could do more than just think like a man? Join me as we unravel the mystery of a shape-shifting trickster with a score to settle and the hunters who dared to face him. This isn't just a hunt. It's a wild game of wits, revenge, and unexpected twists. The village of Qualam was under siege by unseen terror. Each night, hyenas would descend upon the village, their howls echoing through the dry Sahel, their sharp teeth leaving behind destruction. The villagers lived in constant fear, with children crying at the strange sounds from the night. In response to the rising chaos, Tunde, the village's elder and a respected hunter, decided it was time to act. He called upon the strongest hunters of the village to meet him near the baobab tree, where important decisions were always made. The hunters, a brave and skilled group, gathered their weapons, ready to follow Tunde. There was Dogo, the swift tracker, Kazi, the archer, and Yemi, known for her cunning and bravery. They were determined to put an end to the hyena threat. At dawn, the hunters ventured out into the arid landscape of the Sahel. The ground was dry and cracked, and the heat made each step challenging. They followed the hyena's tracks, a winding trail that led deeper into the wilderness. Dogo, with his sharp eyes, spotted tracks, paw prints that seemed to weave in and out of visibility. It was as if the hyenas were leading them somewhere. The hunters followed the trail, cautious of what lay ahead. Suddenly, a strange symbol carved into a rock caught Tunde's attention. It looked like an old warning. The symbol was of a half-human, half-hyena creature, something the villagers had only heard about in ancient tales. The hunters heard distant laughter, an eerie, human-like chuckle. As they approached a cluster of thorny bushes, they found themselves face to face with a pack of hyenas. The animals seemed to be waiting for them, their eyes gleaming with an unsettling intelligence. The hyenas lunged at the hunters, their sharp teeth snapping. The hunters fought back fiercely, using their spears and bows. Yemi showed her bravery, using her agility to dodge the attacks and counter the hyenas. After a hard-fought battle, the hyenas suddenly retreated, as if they were called away by some unseen force. The hunters, panting and confused, watched as the animals disappeared into the distance, their laughter echoing eerily. That night, as they camped, Tunde spoke of an old legend, the tale of a trickster, a shapeshifter, who could transform into a hyena. The creature was said to hold a deep grudge against the village for a crime long forgotten. In the morning, the hunters discovered strange footprints around their camp. Human footprints that transformed into paw prints. It was a chilling reminder that they were being watched, not just by animals, but by something far more intelligent. Tunde explained that, according to legend, the trickster had once lived among the villagers, but was betrayed and cast out. The hyena's attacks were not random. They were part of a long-awaited revenge. Determined to face the trickster, Tunde led the hunters deeper into the wilderness. The journey was harsh, the sun was relentless, and their water supplies were dwindling. They had to press on, knowing the danger they were walking into. Dogo found tracks that led them to a rocky outcrop, a place that seemed to radiate an eerie energy. Tunde believed it to be the lair of the trickster. The hunters prepared themselves, knowing they were approaching a dangerous confrontation. As they approached, the wind began to carry strange voices, laughter and whispers that seemed to come from all directions. It was as if the rocks themselves were speaking, mocking their bravery. The hunters, led by Tunde, stood before a dense wall of thorny bushes that seemed impossible to pass. Dogo, the hyena guide, looked amused. "Only those with a mind for puzzles can find the way," he teased, before vanishing into the underbrush. Tunde and the others searched for an entrance, growing frustrated. Kagiso eventually noticed a series of branches arranged like an arrow. Carefully moving forward, they discovered a narrow, hidden path leading deeper into the Sahel. The hidden path led the hunters to an open clearing with strange symbols carved into stones. Suddenly, Shikaro, the shape-shifting hyena leader, appeared, laughing hysterically. "You think you're clever, finding the way, but this is just the beginning." His laughter echoed as he vanished, leaving the hunters confused and on edge. As the hunters tried to regroup, a sudden fog enveloped them. Tunde shouted for everyone to stay together, but Shikaro's voice could be heard in the mist, whispering jokes and creating illusions. The hunters saw images of themselves dancing clumsily with hyenas. Dogo laughed uncontrollably, shouting, "It's just an illusion. Don't be fooled." Kagiso managed to break through the mist by ignoring the illusions and focusing on Tunde's voice. After escaping the illusions, the hunters came upon a small waterhole. The group, exhausted from their journey, moved forward to drink, but Kagiso hesitated. He noticed Shikaro hiding nearby, his eyes gleaming mischievously. "Wait!" Kagiso shouted, just as the waterhole disappeared, replaced by a deep pit. Shikaro roared with laughter, disappearing once again. Dogo approached Kagiso, nodding approvingly. "You're not as easy to trick as the others, boy," he said, giving Kagiso a playful nudge. Tunde smiled, realizing that Kagiso's caution had saved them. The group gathered, and Dogo explained, "Shikaro feeds on our fear and confusion. The only way to outsmart him is to stay calm." The hunters decided to rest for the night, but Shikaro had other plans. Under the moonlight, he set a trap, creating a fake campsite filled with laughter and food smells. One by one, the hunters were drawn to it, but Kagiso once again resisted, recognizing the eerie glow as one of Shikaro's tricks. He helped pull the others away before they were lost in the illusion. The next morning, the hunters found a lavish spread of food waiting for them. Shikaro appeared, dressed in comically elaborate robes, announcing it as a peace offering. Tunde eyed the food warily, knowing it was too good to be true. Dogo sniffed and muttered, "Shikaro's cooking is never this good." The hunters laughed, refusing to touch the food, and Shikaro disappeared in a puff of frustration. To break their spirits, Shikaro created a mirage of a treasure-filled cave, promising endless riches. Kagiso, growing wiser to the tricks, told the group to focus on their purpose. "We came to protect our village, not for gold," he said. Tunde nodded, and the hunters walked past the mirage, ignoring Shikaro's frustrated wails. Shikaro summoned a sudden sandstorm, hoping to scatter the hunters. Tunde urged everyone to stay together and hold hands to avoid getting separated. The hunters struggled through the storm, with Dogo leading them toward a large rock for shelter. Once they reached safety, Kagiso yelled, "Stay calm. Shikaro wants us to panic." The group took deep breaths and the storm began to subside. After the storm, the hunters found Shikaro sitting atop a boulder, looking defeated. "Why won't you give up?" he asked, clearly frustrated. Tunde stepped forward, "Because we're here for our village, not to play your games." Shikaro looked intrigued, and Tunde continued, "Why do you torment us?" Shikaro hesitated, then sighed, "Because your ancestors wronged my family." Shikaro told the story of how, many years ago, the ancestors of the village had hunted his family mercilessly, taking over their territory without reason. Tunde listened, realizing that the hyenas had suffered due to human greed. "We must make amends," Tunde said, bowing his head. The hunters nodded in agreement, feeling the weight of their ancestors' actions. Tunde spoke up, "We did not know of this past. We wish to make peace with you and your kin." Shikaro seemed skeptical but curious. Kagiso added, "If we can make amends, we will. Our fight was never with you." Shikaro studied the hunters as if trying to gauge their sincerity. "Prove it," he said simply, a glimmer of hope in his eyes. Shikaro led the hunters to a hyena den hidden in the rocks where his family lived. Tunde approached the den slowly, carrying a small offering, a bundle of food and herbs. He placed it at the entrance and stepped back respectfully. The hyenas emerged cautiously, and Tunde bowed. "We come in peace," he said. The hyenas sniffed the offering, and one let out a curious but cautious grunt. Shikaro wasn't fully convinced yet. "If you truly wish for peace, you must pass one final test," he said, a hint of mischief returning to his eyes. He led the hunters to a large baobab tree whose branches were heavy with fruit. "Pick the ripest fruit without disturbing the others," Shikaro challenged. Kagiso climbed the tree carefully, moving with precision and focus, while the other hunters watched anxiously below. Kagiso successfully picked the ripest fruit and brought it down without disturbing the others. Shikaro smiled for the first time, a genuine smile, free of mischief. "You have proven yourselves," he said. Tunde stepped forward, extending his hand to Shikaro. "Let us live in peace from now on," Tunde said. Shikaro took his hand, and the hunters cheered, feeling the weight of their journey lift. As the hunters and villagers learned the value of laughter, respect, and understanding, they created a bond that turned an old rivalry into an unusual friendship. From Tunde's leadership to Dogo's strange but charming antics, the story of the hyenas and the hunters has shown us that even the wildest conflicts can find a peaceful ending when we choose understanding over aggression. If you enjoyed this humorous adventure and want to see more quirky tales with unexpected twists, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Share your favorite part of this crazy journey in the comments below, and let us know if you'd be up for a chicken race too. Stay tuned for more wild and wonderful stories that will keep you laughing and guessing until the very end.